What is up, party people? You know, we always start this show off by showing love to those companies that help make this podcast possible. First is my friends over at Camel City Mill. Let me change your socks. Look who's up here in the left-hand corner. If it isn't Red Velvet himself with that strawberry blonde hair, Mr. Krause. See, look, he's over there repping the socks. Look at him. Guys, yeah, check out these socks. You know I talk about them every other week. I love these things, man. Once again, I want to thank every single one of you that have went and bought these using my link. I really, really do appreciate you. But like I said, remember, use the 30% off code in the beginning. Get your 30% off to try the socks out. If you like them and you go to buy some more, then use the discount code, the discount code uncensored10, and then save 10% on your additional orders. But guys, like I said, they have every kind of sock you could possibly imagine. Boot, ankle, crew, the ones that are really high, bison, apparently whatever the hell that is. They even have the no-show socks. I would definitely try these for work. With these and some good boots, you guys are set up for success when you go to work. Your feet are going to be comfortable. They're not going to smell like Bigfoot's asshole when you get home. And it's a win-win for everybody. The lady tries to cuddle up on you after you get off of work and you take your boots off. She's not going to frown and immediately walk away. All right. So go check yourself out some of these socks. And remember to use the discount code uncensored10. Everybody's using these, man. Go check out 8,000 5-star reviews. You can't fake that. So go check them out. And once again, thank you to everybody that has purchased them so far. Next, my friends over at COMPANYCAM. Guys, if you are running a business, managing a business, I don't care what it is in the trades, you should give COMPANYCAM a look. As far as photo, video, documentation, stop it. Days are over of having to go through your pictures and all of your photos and videos, and all you see is nomenclatures, pictures of units, furnaces, whatever it may be, pictures of your work. Be able to show off pictures of your children, your dog, your spouse, whatever it may be. Be able to get to the pictures that you need to get to and not have it cluttered up with work pictures. That means the world to me. I was always having to buy more space. I do not have to do that anymore. And that is just a small piece of it. Guys, be able to present all of your photos and videos to customers in top quality 4K imaging, being able to put it in a pre-made template to share that with your customer that is going to be professional. Nowadays, people want to know that you do what you say you do, and before and after pictures are the best way to be able to do that. Nobody does that better than COMPANYCAM. Communication is going to be one of the biggest things. Guys, they now have AI built into it, where if you have the app open, you're walking around taking a video of the job and you're talking to AI. Hey, we have to move this line set. This unit's got to get moved over here. I got to replace this. I got to put a new 6-inch, run a new 6-inch flex over here for a new return. The AI is going to professionally build the notes for you so that you don't even have to. All you have to do is let this go into whatever CRM you're using, and bam, your notes are done for you. You don't even have to build them. They are constantly adding more and more things. One of the things we love is the communication between the sales team and the install team. Hey, don't forget to change this gas line, do this, do that. My install manager can talk to my comfort specialist and to be able to coordinate everything on a job. That way we're not making promises to customers and then, God forbid, the install team comes out and doesn't do them because they don't know about them. We're all on the same page, providing 5-star service to our customers, and COMPANYCAM is making that happen. So guys, if it's something you want to check out, for listeners of this podcast, go to www.companycam.com/HVAC Uncensored. They're going to give you 2 months for free. You're going to be able to try it for, 14-day trial. Try it for 14 days. If you like it after that, you're going to get 50% off your first 2 months. And I promise you, go check it out. I have enjoyed it. This is a software that I've used at several companies, and I absolutely love everything to do with this. With that being said, man, we have an amazing show. Let's get on to it. Let's get on to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States. And thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil KV Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. I'm your host, Gil KV Jr. Here we are, another Wednesday, another hump day, and another amazing show for you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let's just say hello to everyone as I do. Mr. Freon Leon, first one in here. What is up, my brother? Mr. Scotty, what is up, brother? Let's see. Mr. Jason, what is up, my man? I saw you guys talking. Hope you had a happy anniversary. Obviously, prayers out to Miss Emily. I hope everything goes okay with that. Let's see who else that we have in here. Oh, Mechanical Environments. What's Matt? Oh, Matt, what is up, man? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Mr. Sammy, what is up, Sammy? Thank you for being in here. If I missed anybody or anybody comes in later, I will holler you out then. But hope everybody's having a great week so far. Been a busy week. I have, hold on, VETO is going to, yeah, that would be funny. VETO is going to acquire Camel City Mill, change the name to Camel Toe. That's funny. No, it would be New Calgon. They're the one that buys everybody's products and puts their name on it, but I won't get into that conversation. Froggy, what's up, buddy? Excuse me. But yeah, it's been a crazy week. I got some videos I'm going to put out on Instagram and stuff tomorrow. The last 2 days, had some installers out changing a big train 10-ton unit at that bank we were at before. Now we're doing some more units. And that's always fun. So I've been out there hands-on doing all that kind of stuff. So it's been a good team. A good time. Oh, Mr. Everett. So I was in this house. But I'm really excited, man, for the show that we have tonight. Like I said, everybody thinks that you have to have a podcast or a social media following to come on here. And that is not the case. That is not true. Not even a little bit. And I'm super excited tonight. All of you know him. He's somebody that's in the chat with us every week. He's always contributing, always chiming in. He's always supporting the show. And when he reached out and said, hey, I'd love to come on, I have some things that I love to talk about, I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So anybody that listens, especially you guys that are in the chat every week, man, you guys are like brothers to me. If you ever want to come on here and do anything, please know that you have an open invitation. All you got to do is get in touch with me, message me. I'll send you a link and we'll make it happen. It's that simple. All right. Obviously, if I don't know somebody, I'm going to want to get a little bit of their backstory just to make sure that it's a decent show. But if you're in here every week, you're supporting the show and you want to come on and bullshit with me and tell your story, I'm 100% down. So please do so. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this man's last name. You guys know him. I'm going to screw it up. I did it when we were talking beforehand. So I'm just going to use the last initial. So guys, please put your hands together. Welcome your buddy who's normally in the chat, Mr. Jared B. I'm not even going to do it. But welcome Jared into the show, man.
Hey, Gil. It's Beaulieu.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So what's up, man? Thank you so much for being here, bud.
Yeah, no problem. Like you talked about that open invitation. Like, I thought I'd reach out and see how it went. So,
yeah, no, for sure, man. And I know that you were just flying home today, like just landed a little bit ago. Your kids haven't even seen you, so I do appreciate you taking the time to come on, man. I will say this before we go. I know that we're going to get into some stuff, and because of your position, please say what, so you don't forget. Please say what you got to say to cover your ass, my friend.
Yeah. So So I don't speak on behalf of Samsung, Linux, HVAC. Anything that I say and talk about today are 100% my own opinions.
Gotcha. There we go. That is good. So Jared, I know I see your name in the chat every week. So I want to say this first and foremost. I appreciate your support, man. I really do. It makes me feel amazing when I go in here every week, and I know that there's certain people that are always going to be in there, and you have been one of them. So I from the bottom of my heart, thank you so very much. I really do appreciate that support. I guess let everybody know a little bit about your background, man. How did you get into this industry? And then we'll kind of work our way up to what you're doing now.
Yeah, so I first started at one of those residential service sales, like we call them white shirt service techs. That's kind of how I got into the trade. I always had some sort of mechanical background, always worked on diesel engines and hydraulics, and then decided to get into HVAC because I was doing tile work and hurt my back twice in 1 year. I'm like, oh, I got to find something else than tile and marble.
Yeah.
So as much as sometimes people rag on those white shirt companies, they're the ones that gave me a first shot. They're the ones always hiring new guys.
Yeah.
So I got into that. And then as a maintenance tech, just working on, they would only let me work on equipment that they installed 5 years or newer. So, and being commission only, not a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
Very high turnover rate with that company for those type of techs. So I found a little, yeah.
I was going to say, so how long did you actually stay there?
2 years. I got promoted to service tech at the 1 year marker. And then once I started going back on stuff, I would do what's called lead turnover. Once I started going back on some of that stuff, I was looking, I was like, and the more I learned about the trade, I'm like, this isn't right. This is not good. Maybe they would have been better off with that old equipment before.
Yeah, no, sometimes not all of them. Some of them do provide some good training. What you choose to do with said training, that's where we can kind of make a wrong turn there. But so yeah, I was just curious. But continue the story, please.
Yeah, in my opinion, this style company is not inherently bad or evil or anything. It's all about the managers and what they allow to happen inside the company. So I started looking for new companies and wanted to get into commercial. And I found everyone that was hiring on the job posted they want 2 years experience. So right at the 2 year marker, I left and went to commercial.
Nice. How was that transition for you going? Because especially only 2 years going from residential to commercial is a big jump.
Yeah, well, the bread and butter for this company was new commercial installs. So they would pull the service guys to do all the startups. So I was tasked on the startup crew because I was going to community college at the time. So having that construction schedule worked out perfect. So getting up early, being there 6 a.m., getting off at 2:30, hitting community college by 5 p.m., 4 p.m., perfect schedule for me.
Oh, that's sweet. And I guess perfecting startup when you're newer is important because sadly that's a process, even in the residential field, that gets skipped over. It's installed, it's running. Oh, we're good. Let's go home. And really, that's not even like you have so much more to do to really commission, per se, that piece of equipment.
Yeah, and it really helped me see a different side of the trade because being the startup, I was the one working with the mechanical inspectors, the fire marshals, and this is Southern California at the time. So I'm dealing with downtown LA. Like I remember we had a VRF startup on a hospital in downtown LA. Yeah, dealing with those inspectors is no joke.
Yeah, no, especially with commercial, when you got to deal with some of them, they definitely, there is no gray area. That's for sure. So how long did you do commercial? And I guess how many, so give me your commercial experience. Like how long was that? How many companies, all that kind of stuff.
So working there, I got introduced, this is where I first got introduced to VRF equipment. And right away, I kind of started taking those classes with the manufacturers and really figured out, oh, this is what I like to do. This is what I like this far more than anything else is working on VRF equipment. So I stayed there a little over 2 years because then my wife and I decided to move out of California to Arizona. And they didn't have anything in Arizona. So I got a job with the company in the summertime, knowing that we were going to move in January to Arizona And I'm like, I don't want to find a new job in air conditioning in January in Arizona when it's the worst time of the year for that.
Yeah.
So I left to a refrigeration company, Ontario Refrigeration. And when it came time to January, I worked there about 6-7 months and then transferred out to Arizona.
Nice. That's cool. It was a big enough company that you could, so you were able to transfer like with the same company to just a different branch. Nice.
My pay, seniority, benefits, even my work van all came with me to Arizona. Those are great.
That's awesome. You don't hear that very often.
Yeah, so I got to buy a house in Arizona, get Arizona pricing, but California wages. It was great.
Yeah, I bet that is awesome.
Yeah.
So that's funny you say that. So I know the wages are high in California, but they're like way, way higher than in Arizona.
Well, the company I worked for that I transferred out here with, they were adamant on not losing guys to unions. So they were non-union shops. So they paid pretty close to union wages for being non-union. So they had a business plan of we're going to pay our guys really well.
Nice.
So they took care of us.
No, hey, that's good. And that's what you have to do. It's funny, when I got in the trade, man, all the old guys told me, they said, if you find a job making really good benefits, a company that takes care of you, then you don't have to worry about the union. At least I feel about here, like the unions are always going to be strong, but I feel like it's not as strong around here as it used to be. And maybe that could just be my personal opinion. And it could be booming for all I know. It's just, there's not a lot of guys that I meet in my local area that are union. Shut up, Scott. Sorry.
It's same thing in the Southwest. The unions aren't too strong out here. So it's a different it's the wild, wild west out here. When I moved from California, working in downtown LA, Santa Monica, those places to come to Arizona, I get on some of these rooftops. I'm like, this stuff passes inspection. And they're like, what inspection? Sound like I had a heart attack.
So when you get up near DC, like anything big government jobs, a lot of times have to be union. It's hard to win those bids if you're non-union, just because it's just the political machine that's working around. But other than that, it's not. That's one of the bad things about the union. If you're part of the Baltimore union, and God forbid they don't have work, you got to go to DC. It's great because their scale pay is higher than Baltimore, but anybody that lives in this area knows that traveling to DC every day, I'd rather smack myself in the nuts with a mallet because it sucks.
Yeah, back up a little bit. One thing that really kind of put me on a different path in my career was I started figuring out, okay, in order for me to kind of master my trade, I think it was Malcolm Gladwell's book, 10,000 Hours. Realize you need 10,000 hours before you can truly master something. So what I did was started calculating in my head, okay, this is back in residential, of my day, how many of that time am I actually in front of equipment? Because there's a lot of extra stuff we do as service techs that has nothing to do with diagnosing or working on equipment. So I figured at best I'm getting 2 hours a day actually in front of equipment, and that wasn't good enough for me. So I started doing stuff. This is where I got into the podcast, HVAC podcast. So I can listen while in the work van, listen while I'm doing other things, just to immerse myself in HVAC to get those 10,000 hours as fast as possible.
That's awesome. That's an amazing book. I have read that book. I've used that in whether it was with sports for me, for my kids, when it's come to work, and I always use the sports analogy. It's kind of like you practice enough so that when you get into the game, it's second nature. And it's the same way with what we do in the trade. You practice enough that when game time happens, it's just like you're just doing stuff and don't even realize you're doing it because it's just starting to click. I've said my story a million times that, when I first left my dad, I tried to fake the funk and get him to help me. And by him not answering the phone and making me, I said, hey, I'm sick of not knowing. So that I had the same kind of route. That's when I stuck my head in the books, taking online classes, got into HVAC podcasts, YouTube videos. Never thought that I would be podcasting years later. That's just kind of how that worked out. But, kind of the same route. So that's awesome. So how long did you stay in commercial and like refrigerate? Well, let me back up here. How did you like the refrigeration side of it?
Well, the company I worked for, the refrigeration, it was in the name, but about 50% of the work is they specialized, their bread and butter was maintenance contracts, commercial maintenance contracts. That was their bread and butter. So I did a lot of, in Arizona, tons of heat pump package units. They're everywhere here, especially on commercial buildings. There's not a gas package unit in commercial in Arizona in a lot of different places. So I did that till I was there it was during 2020. So then after like 2021, 2022 is when I actually left the field and got a job in distribution.
Nice. How many dehumidifiers you sell out there in Arizona?
One.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, it was they manufactured LCD projectors, so they would have humidifiers, dehumidifiers. Like they had to be very strict climate in that space. So it's a lot of industry and equipment that never see anywhere else in Arizona.
That's funny. I figured there'd be like a lot of like the pool units that have like the reheat coils and stuff because of the nice weather and resorts and stuff. But that's funny. Didn't think you'd see too many of the dehumidifiers out there.
It was 100% outside air desiccant dehumidifier.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Made in Minnesota. I'll never forget that piece of equipment. I was like, what's this doing in Arizona?
So how did you enjoy like your commercial experience actually being like tools and stuff like that? Like how did you enjoy that experience? Like what did you like? What did you dislike about it?
On the commercial side, being a service tech, you kind of have to be like know everything like an inch deep but a mile wide. Companies I worked for, you got to know a little bit of everything. So I could be throwing out your basic, 3-phase single circuit package unit commercial, or I got a train chillers or that desiccant dehumidifier. I got VRF equipment. You could be throwing a lot of different places in the company I was at. But
that's crazy.
They were good because they.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, did they split up like their commercial air conditioning, like rooftops and like refrigeration? Was it two different sides or was it just mixed into one?
So they would give you, the managers, you would be given like a classification as a tech. You'd be given like a grade, A, B, C, D, or I don't know what it went down to. And based on your classification would be what they would give you. So the higher up you were, the more you got.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, back in my early career when I worked for a big refrigeration company, did kind of the same thing. But I think everybody would get some air conditioning calls, but the refrigeration, we did like convenience stores and then rack refrigeration. So normally the convenience store guys is where you started and you worked your way up to rack. I did a little bit of both, but just because I was younger, I wanted to work. I was trying to make money. I didn't really, whatever. I didn't care. But a lot of the senior guys did rack, the big stuff. They weren't going to the 7-Elevens, Royal Farms, gas stations, stuff like that. So that's why I was curious. I know some of the big boys will split it up, but I guess the classification makes sense too. If you're in an area and you can do all of it, then why send another tech? That doesn't make any sense. So the technical, when you were out there and you were carrying tools and all that kind of stuff, I always ask, what did you like about it? And then I always ask this question, like, how was your quality of life, like your home life and stuff like that?
My wife and I would always joke around. After about Easter till Thanksgiving, she was a single mom because I'm gone. Because it's Arizona. It's we have a lot of HOAs. So Arizona, our service vans for air conditioning refrigeration are considered emergency service vehicles. So HOAs are not allowed to discriminate. That's how important it is out here in Arizona. So we can park that right at the driveway and they can't say nothing.
Well, that's cool.
So, yeah, but I was gone a lot, 12, 16-hour days, especially on call. On call because when you're on call, what's nice about being on call is you get thrown at anything. There is no classification service techs when you're on call. You got a primary and a secondary, and that's who's there. So the best time to learn was actually when you were on call because you could get thrown stuff you'd normally not be able to see.
How were the resources? Like, say it was a guy with like a lower or however the classification was, and he was sent to a piece of equipment that he technically wasn't classified to work on. Were they at least like both guys on call? Like there was like a high classification, a low, or vice versa, or you don't know?
Well, we had the service manager, but there's also a service supervisor. And so he was tasked to be on call to help any of the on call techs if they needed advice during the day or during nighttime. So that was his role, to provide that expertise if you weren't supposed to be working on that piece of equipment.
That's cool. And he was available, answered the phone, like all that good stuff. Nice.
Pretty much. But also in the trade, when you work at different offices, you kind of pick out, okay, that's who I want to call for refrigeration. That's who I want to call for chillers. You start picking out, okay, these are the people I need to talk to for certain pieces of equipment. This trade it's too much. No one knows everything.
No.
Not a single person will know everything. So we all kind of, whether we realize it or not, we kind of tend to specialize and fall into different areas of the trade that we tend to like and know and figure out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was VRF.
Yeah, no.
Mini splits of VRF was my thing.
So did you guys did a lot of that with that company, commercial VRF and stuff like that?
Yeah. The first commercial company I got into, I did a lot of it, not as much because again, it was when we had VRF accounts, I would be the tech that would be assigned my accounts. And then therefore I was doing the quarterly maintenances. So we'd all get accounts and those were our babies. So we were doing the maintenances, the service calls, those were our accounts. So we took care of it and knew the equipment really well.
Nice. Freon says he knows everything about nothing. So he's one of those techs. Like, no, that's cool. And I like that, giving techs like ownership over certain properties, because it just, that's mine. You know what I mean? It gives you like, it just shows your pride in something. So I actually really like that idea. And it makes sense in commercial. Can't really do that in residential. I mean, I guess you can, like Mrs. Smith is yours and Mrs. Jones is yours, but it's a little bit harder to do that. So that's crazy. So you worked on them and then you had a huge gap, even though that the VRF was your passion. So what made you finally say like, enough's enough? Like I want to get out of the field and go this way.
Early on, I had a mindset of by the time I turned 40, I want to have a resume to get out of the field if I want to. I did not want to be one of those guys with knee surgeries and hip surgeries. And my only choice was to still climb ladders. I wanted it to be my choice when I got out of the field, if I wanted to. Because then there's also those guys in their 50s that are great. No problems. You never know until you get there, which kind of tech you're going to be. And I didn't want to find out the hard way until it was too late. So taking some classes. So the company I worked for was also part of a local trade organization that would offer classes. So you could send your techs at a discounted rate to receive training with other techs from different companies. So they were a part of that. And one of the instructors was the general manager for a local distributor in Arizona. And so I asked him early on, I was like, hey, to be kind of your tech guy, your in-house tech guy, what does that entail? What do I need to do? And so he had told me, and a lot of it is teaching experience, because half of that job, yes, you got to diagnose over the phone and do site visits, but you also need to be able to give classes and be in front of a group of service techs, installers, and give a class. So I found a local trade school. Actually, it was when Ty Brenneman was on one of the podcasts, he kind of gave out some contact information. I reached out to him because one of the schools that he was working with was in Phoenix. So I reached out to him and ended up getting me a job there as a part-time instructor. So I'd work there Saturdays, like every Saturday for almost 3 years as an instructor at that trade school.
Nice.
And then that same person I talked to posted on LinkedIn that position was available like 2-3 years later. I forget how long it was. And then I reached out to him, and now I had that experience, that teaching experience, along with the service expertise to actually be qualified for that position.
So you did that teaching while you were still in the field?
Yeah. Monday through Fridays, work out in the field, service tech. Saturdays, I would be teaching. And if I was on call, the company let me, I would go in my uniform and work van to the school on Saturdays in case something happened.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I've always loved the teaching side. That's what I love to do. That's even my position, being, part owner and GM of the company. I still do the technical trainings because I love doing it. I just, I know at some point I may have to relinquish that to someone else, but I truly do love doing that. And it's something that is acquired because you can be a very, very good tech and know what you're doing and be able to fix whatever you touch, but it doesn't mean that you can explain and teach it to somebody else.
And one thing I really liked about the teaching, because this was not on the distributor side where I'm teaching other people out in the field. I'm usually at the trade school, I'm teaching people who have zero knowledge of air conditioning, HVAC. So the amount of assumptions I made talking to people were blatantly apparent when I talked to someone else, when I talked to these students. Like, oh, I got to go away. It really helped me improve as a service tech to go back and really know the fundamentals, really learn the basics, and stop assuming stuff.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. So how long did you do that, and how did the opportunity arise for you to get into what you're doing now?
So basically from very first service tech in the trade to where I am now took 9.5 years, that whole span.
Oh.
So from residential to commercial contracting companies, distribution, and then manufacturer.
Nice. So when you were working for the distribution, are you now for that manufacturer, or is it two totally different things?
So that so the distributor I worked for supported Samsung and the York products.
Gotcha. And you've been there how long now?
I've been with Samsung since December of 2024.
Nice. And how are you liking that? I mean, obviously, I know you're traveling and all that kind of stuff. So how are you enjoying it?
If you're a dork about air conditioning, this is a good position to be in, because you're dealing with everyone's hardest job they've ever dealt with. I'm not changing capacitors. I'm not diagnosing fuses. You're dealing with everyone's hardest stuff. So my role as a regional technical service manager, I have 3 primary responsibilities. Training. So if you want Samsung training, it would be someone like me in my position to come to your shop, to your distributor spec rep to give that training, as well as assisted startups and site visits for problem jobs.
Nice. Do you have a certain district that you're doing? Like, what is your area? Like, how many states around you are you taking care of?
Technically, that my region's the Southwest region. So it's California, Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico, and Utah, Colorado. But the way we do it, we just kind of cover everything on the West Coast. Anything west of Colorado, US and Canada, me or another guy will take care of.
Nice. Well, I guess all of your, like, if you were to call that, you're doing all like the big commercial VRF. So like, if I was to put like some kind of residential system in, you would not be the person that I'm getting in touch with or training.
Not necessarily. No, because at Samsung, we don't have like what we consider regular ducted system products, like your regular splits or anything. All we do is mini splits or anything with VRF, whether that be water source VRF or single phase or 3-phase VRF. So everything we have is communicating and modulating inverter equipment.
Nice.
So we cover mini splits or the VRF would, depending on the class you want, you would get someone like me or the distributor person. Depends on how it's set up.
It's funny. So I've never put my hands on any of your equipment, but I got a few buddies who swear by it. I mean, they do. They love it. Does Mr. What is it? Jose De La Porta, doesn't he work for Samsung?
He did when I was in the distribution. So he was doing a lot of the tradings years ago, but he's not there anymore.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought about his name the last time I thought of Samsung. All right. Well,
he's on a lot of the videos on YouTube still, I think.
Yeah. I remember back when I think it was with like Lennox, or who was he? Somebody. Yeah. Before he went there, because he was on the podcast years ago. Very, very cool guy. So yeah, I guess if you had to, I mean, people say they're all the same, and I know you're not a sales guy, you're a technical person, but somebody who the ins and outs, like what makes Samsung different? Like what is me as a consumer or somebody who owns a company, like why should I be selling and giving Samsung to my customers? You know what I mean?
Well, on the technical side, I got 2 favorite things. Is one, our mini splits and VRF equipment are treated very similar. So, with VRF, we got a lot of comm wires separate from power, versus mini splits. A lot of other manufacturers will put the comm and power all together with the 14.4 wiring. With our mini splits, we still have that same 16.2 stranded shielded wiring on our smallest mini split versus all our big commercial VRF equipment. So there's a lot of consistency. So there's not a lot of differentiating between, I only know the mini splits, I can't work on the VRF. It's very cross compatible as far as technical and diagnostic purposes.
Nice. So when it comes to the mini splits, like what, pretty much like all your mini splits are going to be variable speed, right? Like that's just makes sense. All companies are doing that now. And then I guess, what do you guys have? What is yours called? Like, and I hate to say this, but like similar to like a hyperheat, a low temperature one. Do you guys have like an equivalent to that for like out here where I am?
Yeah. So for today, branding was max heat, but now they're switching over to 32. It's like standard and premium. So the premium has the higher heating capacity at lower temperatures.
I'm sorry. Thank you guys for going with R32. Thank you so much. That makes me interested in your product right there, because you didn't go 454B, because that stuff is bullshit.
We do have one product that's 454B. It's our Hilex, which is like our universal inverter. So you can have a Samsung inverter side discharge on any kind of A coil or air handler with the TXV.
Oh, nice.
And we, again, 454B probably because it's unique to North America. So only US and Canada get that unit. So they probably would because that's what most of the other manufacturers that you would pair it up with did.
Yeah. Dumbasses. Gotta hate that. But yeah, and I know I've seen some of your guys' wall mounted units where they're actually pretty slick looking. Do they make several different models, obviously, like the different levels going up, or is it kind of like this is it?
So our big thing when it comes to the high walls is our what they call wood-free technology. So a lot of little perforated holes on the faceplate. So once we get within 2 degrees of set point, the thing actually closes up and drops the fan speed so low by ASHRAE standards it's considered still air, and now it just kind of radiates cooling. So you don't actually blow air when you get close to set point. It closes up and more like radiates cooling.
That's pretty sweet. Because I do remember seeing a picture or a video, and it was like a silver looking one. I think it was. Maybe it wasn't silver. I don't know. I remember it looked very sleek. It looked like if I had to show this to a customer, like that's going to look pretty cool on my wall, not just this random box. So maybe I'm wrong with the color, but I do remember that it was pretty good looking unit.
Yeah. So that's a big thing is the wind free, because one of the things with mini splits that people don't like is they don't like as it ramps down. Guess what happens to your temperature? It goes up because it's not as cold. It's not doing as much work. So a lot of times they feel that air, but it's not very cold. They think something's wrong with the unit. They get a lot of, I don't want to say like annoying service calls, but misconceptions is a better word. Versus when you get the wind free, it just closes up and ramps really low. So it's still cold coming off of there, but we're just not moving a lot of air. Yeah, we can just maintain set point and never shut off.
No, that makes sense. And for I guess for the residential side, you guys, it's pretty standard that the outdoor unit you can have up to 5 indoor heads. That's kind of the max that most places have.
Oh, we have single phase VRF as well as our multi-port, or what we call FJM. So that's your multi-port mini split. Yeah, it goes up to 4 tons, 5 ports.
Nice. So when you get these calls, like what are some of the common calls that you get? And I guess I would say, what are some of the common calls that you get? And what are some of the issues with those problems? Are there people like not knowing the project? Because I can imagine a lot of the calls you get, like you just said, are not like legitimate issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, normally your everyday calls, you want to go through your distributor or the call center for your everyday stuff. Usually when stuff gets to me, it's a little bit of a bigger issue.
That's true.
By then. But again, I'm in constant contact with our local distributor technical support. So when they have an issue they can't fix, they have direct contact to one of us. So that's really the best way to get support on our products is find your distributor's technical expert and they'll be able to really help you. But most of the time it's a lot of it is because guys will buy it and not get proper training on it and don't realize That COM wire that we have for mini splits is 16-2 stranded shielded, and it's separate from our high voltage. Because everyone's used to mini splits, just that same 14.3, 14.4, depending if you're talking to an electrician or not. That wiring is all high voltage, and that will not work with our systems.
Huh. That's definitely different. That's the first one, because they are pretty much all the other way with the other wire.
But we'll say this: what's nice is the same service tool that you use for our VRF will work on our smallest mini split. Same tool, same software. It's universal.
Oh, that is cool, because having to know these different ones can be a pain sometimes. Damn, I forgot what I was just getting ready to say. Oh, I said, because I know what's frustrating. Like, I've been one of those people that I have never been too proud to call tech support. I have learned so much throughout my career by calling tech support. But one of the frustrating things I've always had is when you call some of those lines, which I would have to say it's normally not when you call your local distributor. It's when you call like one of the main numbers and you get somebody following a flow chart. You know what I mean? Where they don't necessarily know the product either. They're just going, and you got to be like, hey, I'm 4 pages ahead of that. Like, turn the pages up a little bit. But that's more of a corporate thing. That's not something you're going to see on the distribution side.
No, here's going back to my second favorite thing about Samsung equipment. A lot of our technical documents are open to the public. No login credentials required. That's when, if someone calls, like when I was in distribution first learning Samsung equipment, when someone would call me with a question, I'm going to the same public site everyone else have access to find the answers. There's just not, we don't keep too many things behind the curtain. It's a lot of it's public facing technical information on our website. That's install manuals, service manuals. We have some service guides that our call center has been taking track of a lot of the most common error codes that get called on. So our service manual is like 300-400 page PDF document. It's a big service manual. So they'll take those calls and pull out the 1 to 3 pages of PDF that have to do with that one call from that manual, with that one error code. So so until you get used to that document, then you can just go off of those.
Can you go there and get like service bulletins and stuff too? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. You go on our website, samsunghvc.com, and you go to the technical documents portion. It'll have a menu so you can navigate the site depending on what type of equipment you're working on. Or it has a search bar. You type in the model number, boom, hit enter. Anything on that website will pop up for that model number, including any published technical bulletins.
That's sweet, because a few manufacturers, I used to, I like Lennox equipment, but I used to hate getting the service bulletins. It was like they would hold them hostage, and it's like, dude, like if I'm selling, I'm buying millions of dollars worth of equipment from you. Like when they pop up, like, can you give me easy access or email them to me or something? So I do think they have gotten better, and I'm not currently selling Lennox right now. I'm probably going to go back to it, but yeah, being able to have access to those is amazing, especially when you're constantly putting in that piece of equipment. Real fast, Jason said, what about the white papers? Are those available? Whatever that means. No, it's only the blue ones. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean. But that's cool that all that documentation. So it makes sense. So people are going to go through a few different buffers with those problems before they're going to get to you. Like, so you're going to get legitimate problems. You're not going to be dealing with some of the, my unit's not coming on, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Or if, because like I said, if it goes to the distributor and then they have they can get a hold of us directly. So, and I'm still a service tech at heart. I'm here to solve problems. I don't care what it is, who did it. I'm here to fix the dang thing. That's what I do.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So how many trainings are you doing a month? Is it random based on who signs up, or is it kind of consistent on how many you're doing?
It depends. So we just opened up a new training center in Cypress, California. So we have the main one, the original one in Roanoke, and then we just opened one up in Cypress, California. So those are actual Samsung training facilities with all our equipment. What's cool is that Cypress lab has a full water loop. So our chillers, DVMS water, and our hydros are all fully functioning with the water loop, which is really cool. But we also have the distributors and your local people, Samsung spec reps and distributors, depending on, might also have a training center as well. And they can also do the trainings or facilitate those trainings as well.
Nice. Oh, so Jason said he meant like the engineering manuals. The white papers are the engineering manuals.
We publish our technical data books. So all our BTU performances, sound levels, the decibels, that's all published documents on the website.
Nice.
So you want to know what our system, each model does at certain temperatures, indoor, outdoor, and know what the BTU should be. It's all right there on the website. Those are our technical data books.
No, that's pretty sweet.
Even our exploded parts views are on the website. So if you want to find a part and get the exact part number, go on the website.
Nice. So how many like problem startups or something like that? Like, when's the last time you've had to do one of those? I guess talk me through what you had to do. I'm kind of curious, like when you had to go on site because there was an issue.
So let's see here. We had a job. It was our single phase VRF equipment, which we called it DVM Eco. Now it's a different name for 32, but they had 3 indoor units, 1 outdoor. So our VRF, so it's not home runs like mini splits. So it's actually one set of piping leaving the outdoor unit, then branching off to other pipes, other fan coils inside the space. And they could not get it to talk and communicate. And they were going over and over. They were going through the different avenues of service and trying different things and couldn't work, and finally got to me and then submitted a service site request. So I flew out, got to the site, and it was the wiring. They replaced 2 boards, EEPROMs, trying to reprogram all sorts of stuff. They were throwing all sorts of parts at it, and it's the wiring. I cleaned up the wiring, and it worked. I didn't even replace any wiring.
Oh, geez.
Mm-hmm.
So was it all new wiring or was it like?
Yeah, it was a new install, new home build.
Mm-hmm. Oh man,
it was one of those things where we asked them to check it 5 or 6 different times, and they always said yes, no, it's good. But to their credit, it was so we do a daisy chain, so we go from the outdoor unit to the first head, second, and third head. They could get 2 of the 3 heads to talk, but not the first one. They couldn't get the first one for it to see it. So, and the mindset was, I'm talking to the first head, and that has the wiring for the other 2. It can't be the wiring. But it was. Well, I cleaned up the daisy chain at that connection. It was talking right away.
That's crazy. So, I mean, obviously, so when it comes to the piping, use a branch box.
If it's heat recovery. This was a heat pump, so just the Y joints.
Oh, okay. But then the wiring is a daisy chain. So
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's neat. I've never seen it that way. Do you guys offer one? And this may be just for my own knowledge. I've had customers. I know that with the VRF in commercial, where like they can be cooling this space and heating this space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's heat recovery, and we do offer heat recovery for single phase equipment.
Nice.
So that single phase VRF is heat pump and heat recovery. So that'd be a 3-pipe outdoor unit.
Sweet.
Going to the branch box, or MCU is what we call it for the single phase ones. And then that could have your different ports to go into your internal fan coils. And those fan coils could be heating or cooling, depending on what they want.
Yeah, because I needed to do more research because I've had some. I know that they're going to be more expensive, but I have had some customers that have brought that up. And to be honest, I know the technology exists, but I guess I haven't installed one. I was being ignorant. I should know better, as far as to look into it, because I figured that somebody was doing it in a residential atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
I have to find out who my local Samsung distributor is. I'm not even sure.
I know FW Web is a big distributor out in the Northeast.
I'll have to look for them. That's not even a name. I mean, I've heard of them. I don't. Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on Baltimore area, but because again, I'm a West Coast guy, so I know all my partners out here.
Yeah, no, I'll have to check that out. And so there's a whole like technical department out this way, because you said I forget. You said the earlier.
Yeah, so we have one of the RTSM's regional technical service managers. So we're a whole department team, and we got guys all over the country so basically the whole U.S. and Canada is broken up in different sections, and each of us has our own territory.
Sweet. And earlier, I thought you said, Samsung and Lennox, but you said Samsung and York?
So that was on the distribution side. Our name right now, because we did a joint venture with Samsung Lennox HVAC North America. So Lennox will have Lennox powered by Samsung for their mini splits and VRF now.
Oh, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still only doing that piece of equipment. Like you're not going to be handling like Lennox per se.
No, yeah, my focus task is on the Samsung branded equipment.
No, that's pretty neat. So I'm curious to some of the bigger. So if it's all the same, I was gonna say some of the bigger commercial side, but like you said earlier, it's kind of you're working on all
very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it gets to me, I support the product. That's at the end of the story. And at the end of the day, that's what I'm supposed to do. We got our partners are having issues. On my job technically is to fix those, to help them overcome those issues and solve the problems. No matter what it is. It could be a small mini split, could be our Hilux unit or a large VRF chiller, our air processing unit, anything. I'm there to support it.
That's sweet. I know I know we're getting close to an hour, but I know you've already touched on it before, but I guess just letting everybody know, for one, touche on you, because I've been the same way. I always say have an escape plan, like to get out of the field. So that's awesome that you did that, especially in 10 years, 9 years, to be able to do that. The other thing I was going to say is let everybody know how your field time prepared you for what you do now. And how do you think it would have been if you wouldn't have had that, all that field time to be able to do what you're doing now?
Probably the biggest thing when it came to the field time was one of the things I did a lot was if I started feeling like too big a fish, I found a bigger pond. I was constantly making sure I'm always in the deep end, trial by fire hose. If I felt too comfortable, I need to find something different. I needed to move on. So that just always pushing and the uncomfortability of being sent to a site, not knowing anything about the piece of equipment, so I have no idea what could be going on, and be like, you know what? It's okay. I'll get the manual. I'll read it. I might not be fast as every person, but I'm going to figure it out and read the manual. And I think some of the underrated skills in this trade is reading and writing.
I agree 100%. I always, especially installers, when they call me with a problem, I always tell them, one of my old bosses taught me this: did you read the install manual? And if they say no, I say, read the manual. If you still have the problem when you're done, call me back. And you'd be surprised how many times they don't call you back.
Yeah, I think every tech should take a college level writing class. Because I've gotten raises because my service manager could read my service report and not need to talk to me and deal with the building owner's questions. He didn't need to do it because he read my report and knew everything was going on, and he could take care of the problem.
No, that's very true. I had a problem with guys in the residential side, using Chat GPT to write their notes. And I'm like, hey guy, this may look good to Harry homeowner, but none of the information that I need, if this person was to call in and say, oh, your tech was here and didn't do this, or this, I got a bunch of fluff filler bullshit in here that's not necessarily going to help me. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not what I need. And it's funny because I actually broke it down. One of my partners is, MIT grad, you know what I mean? He's an engineer. So we went over exactly, it was almost like doing a writing class in a service meeting. Like, this is how we want you to write your reports. You know what I mean? Like the problem they were called for, what you found, what we can do to present it, what they chose. Like we broke it down into paragraphs because like I need your tickets to be thorough, and I want to be able to read that thing six months, a year later, and be able to be like, oh, I know exactly what he did here, because when you're on the field, you're doing, whether it's commercial, residential, doesn't matter. You're doing so many calls. You're not going to remember that 2 weeks from now. You're just not. That's just human.
Yep. So yeah, and he would read me some of the service reports he'd get. It'd be like Tarzan wrote the dang thing. It was pretty bad. So taking those writing classes, and honestly, I took a physics class in college, and being out and going from the field to taking the physics class, I'm like, oh, this is why I can do what I do out in the field. It made so much. It connected so many dots on the service side, learning some of the underground physics of things that the labs were super like, oh, I can do this. Because we had like electrical lab. It was just using a meter and test. I'm like, oh, I can do. It was much easier class and really helped propel my career is knowing those underlying physics.
And it's funny, some of the things that we do in our trade that you don't realize how much you actually know about it. My one daughter was doing like, it was one of my sons was doing like chemistry stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's this. I'm like, oh, those two together make you know what I mean? And he was like looking at me, and I was like, I actually use this stuff every day. I'm like, so it's, I don't know how I know these answers, but I do. So it's just, there's a bunch of those things that we learned in high school or college that maybe you didn't think that you'd be using every day, but you do.
I think being out in the field and then taking those classes was a big, big difference, because you're not just, you actually see it out in the field every day and while you're taking those classes. So it hits differently than just going straight from high school to college.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And you're pulling what, oh, I use this. Oh, that makes sense. I saw this here. You know what I mean? You're doing like personal, like, stories with it. And part of me, I mean, I'm not getting any younger, but part of me wanted to go back to college to get a degree just to say that I got one for myself. Yeah. Obviously,
I never finished. I never finished college. Yeah. I got into an electrical engineering program right when we moved to Arizona, and bought a house, had our second kid, and then I'm taking Calculus for Engineers 2 online. One of those three had to go, and I'm not getting rid of the kid or the house. So
yeah, right. Yeah.
It wasn't working.
Yeah, mine was, 4 kids, businesses, a podcast. It's just, there was no time. But even if I do it for fun, just for me, an online course or something, I would love to do something like that again, just to say that I did it. Because I love learning. I love the teaching side. I love learning just as much as I love teaching. That's why I love this podcast, because I get to spread information or teach people that I know more than them on subjects, but then I get to learn from people that forgot more than I know. You know what I mean? Like, I get the best of both worlds. And I think that's where my love for doing this really came from. And I got a big mouth, so they kind of just work.
Yeah, one thing that I always made a point of doing whenever I got in a new position, I always looked, where do I want to go next? Where do I want to be in 5 years? And then I'd work backwards to see, what do I need to do to get there? That's what kind of the teaching the trade school really was. I learned what I needed to go to get there, and then I started. So that way, when the opportunity came, I was prepared and had the resume.
Yeah, that's sweet, man. And good for you. It seemed like you've been a very, like, it wasn't just like you made opportunities present themselves. You prepared yourself to what you wanted to do, and and the fact that you did it in a 10-year span is awesome. So anybody out there listening, you don't have to be 25 years in the trade and 65 years old to be doing what Jared's doing. I mean, he just showed you what his path was for 10 years in the trade to now being, running a department that is the technical side for Samsung, which is a ginormous company. So that's why I love people coming on and talking about all of us have different paths. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of us like, oh, dad did it, grandpa did it, blah, blah, blah. But there's still a whole bunch of different stories like yours in here. And I love hearing people's journey. Everybody has their own journey. And I love hearing theirs, because it should be inspiring to other people that it doesn't matter what your path is. You need to dictate your path. Don't be one of those people that just walks along and just just random door knocks. You know what I mean? Prepare yourself to make those doors open.
Yeah, no, this trade will reward you whatever you put into it. If you put a lot in, it'll give you a lot back. If you don't, if you're just coasting, great. There's plenty. You can make money and have a good career doing that too. But I always want to make sure I was intentional with what I was doing.
Yeah, no, amen to that. I always say that's when this trade you can let it be a job or you can let it be a career. And it's your choice. It's what you want. And I agree. I've said it a million times. This trade will give you what you put into it. So if you're only putting in a little bit, don't expect to be the highest earning, technician or doing all these things stuff, because that's not how life works. This trade should be no different. But damn, man, we're past 10. I really enjoyed this conversation, man. I'm really glad that you came on, Jared. I'm glad to now. I mean, I see your name in there, but now to put a face to a name and hear about your story, and it's pretty impressive, your story, man. Like what you did and how you got to where you are, and what some people would consider a relatively short time. 10 years is not a short time, but it just shows that if you're driven, you're dedicated, and you have a purpose to what you're doing, that you can get to some of these things, and it doesn't have to be some crazy long time.
Yep.
That's awesome. Does anybody in the chat, you guys got any questions before we start to close this thing out for Jared? He's one of your brethren who's normally in there with you guys.
Plus, you got me talking about Samsung, so I literally do that forever. I get paid to do that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Samsung is definitely a product that I've wanted to check out. Like I said, I have a few buddies who they swear by it. Matter of fact, they're in Virginia, so
it's nice again. With Samsung, a lot of customization. You can customize our mini splits to perform how you want it to perform. And it's all digital code. There's no accessory dip switches. It's all digital code built into it. A lot of our stuff is digital and not hardware.
So with Lennox now, all their stuff is going to be like with you guys. Like they don't have any of their because I know before they weren't even making their own. Well, most of them aren't making their own mini splits. I know Degree was making all their stuff, even though they were saying it. So I guess I'm asking if because the reason I'm saying this is I was thinking about working with some of my contacts to start doing Lennox again. If I was start to being a Lennox dealer again and I was selling their mini splits, would I be selling your product?
Yeah, it would be branded Lennox powered by Samsung.
You did say that earlier. Sam said, yes, I asked before if Jared is related to Priscilla.
Oh, Elvis's wife had the same last name. Priscilla Presley. Her maiden name is the same as mine, no relation. That I know of.
If he is, he's not getting any royalties. So it's gotta dig into that one. Adrian, what's up, buddy? I saw you came in. Sorry, we were talking. Well, damn, Jared, thank you so much. This is what I'm talking about to everybody listening. Please, if you got something to say, come on, man. I really, really enjoyed this. I enjoyed talking with you and hearing about your journey and your story. And I really think this is going to help some people out there listening to what your path was. It's not the norm. It was a little different, which, I love. But like I said, the fact that you were very, diligent as far as what you were trying to do, and the fact that you got there is awesome, dude. So very, very happy for you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Gil.
Yeah, dude. And like I said before, man, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate seeing you in the chat. And I'd love to have you back on again, man. Come back on and maybe we can, dig into the Samsung stuff. I don't know, a training something. I'd love to learn it.
Put together something.
Yeah, we'll definitely have it. All right, brother. I'm going to start to close this out, man. You're more than welcome to hang out, or you can rock and roll. But matter of fact, go be with your family because you just flew in, buddy. So thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
All righty, take care.
See you, buddy. Well, man, that was fun. I'm definitely going to have to try to do that again. See, this is what I love, man. Like, this is what I say about you guys in the chat. Like, a lot of you I do know personally. I've met you in person, but things like this, man, like a guy that's a wealth of knowledge with what he does and his story, who's in the chat every week, that now I just finally get to put a face to a name and talk to him. And seems like a really awesome dude, man. Like, the guy knows his shit. He's a very, very smart guy. So that was cool. I really, really enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And I hope that anybody listening to this, watching this can see to be very intentional. I love what he said about being intentional with your journey. Um, and I love a lot of the quotes. There's a bunch of sound bites in this podcast that I can't wait to clip them and try to make videos out of, because I can say that I feel the same way that he does about some of those. Be intentional in what you do. This trade, you're only going to get out of it what you put in. So if you're somebody who's putting in the bare minimum, don't expect this trade to give you a lot. That's just the way it's going to work. Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. Obviously, as always, thanks everybody to being in the chat, dude. I appreciate you guys. You guys know that. What is up, Mark? Second time on the live. Our electrician buddy who pops in at the end of the show. But yeah, I'm going to start to close this out, man. Please remember to, like this video, try to go, comment afterwards once the live goes and it's not just the live chat. Try to leave me a comment in there. That just keeps raising to the top. Make sure to like and share this video. Audio podcast, wherever you download your audio podcast, if you wouldn't mind leaving me a 5-star review, well, we greatly appreciate it. A lot of the got a good rating, but a lot of the reviews are older. So trying to get some newer, fresher ones in there. So if you wouldn't mind doing that for me, that would be greatly appreciated. I always say, if you don't think it deserves 5 stars, don't go in there and put 2. Don't do that to me. Email me. Let me know why you think that. I would love to hear your feedback. Like I always say, just don't be a dick about it. So email me at hvacuncensored@gmail.com or info@hvacuncensored.com. And I try to respond to all those emails as fast as I possibly can. So if I don't do it immediately, give me a couple of days. I try to play catch up and I respond to all of those personally. So just know that. But with that being said, man, I'm going to start to close this out. Make sure you follow the podcast on all the social media sites to stay up to date on everything that I have going on. Guys, remember to keep your head on a swivel, all right? Be safe out there. I want each and every one of you to make it home the same way that you left. We all got people that love us, that care about us, that want us to come home at the end of the day. I don't care if it's driving. The roads all over this country, they're crazy. Driving's wild. All right. Make sure that the breaker's turned off. Don't just trust things. Use your meter. Whatever it is, make sure that breaker's turned off. Make sure your ladder is set up properly. All right. Don't be in a rush. Please be careful. Do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy or girl. All right. Be one of those. Don't be one of those people that just puts a little bit in. All right. Give your very, very best. Put everything that you got. If you're not going to give 100%, then don't do it. This trade can give you so much if you're willing to put that into it, and so many doors, so many paths will open for you. I promise you that. All right. Remember to give back. No matter where you are, give back to somebody else in the trade. That's how we're going to keep this growing. We're going to build this. I don't want to say brotherhood because we have a bunch of sisters in the trade as well. But give back. Help teach somebody else. Don't be afraid to ask questions. All right. If you're that senior tech where you work, help the people below you. You know what I mean? Help guide them. Help mold them. That's how we're going to keep carrying this up. And I'm telling you, if we keep doing things the right way, if we keep mastering our craft, all those people that are doing things wrong, that are dishonest and ripping people off and half-ass and stuff, they're going to start to fall to the bottom, and they're going to start to stick out because they're going to realize that everybody else is not doing what they're doing. All right. If we all do that, we can police ourselves. We can police our own trade. All right. With that being said, I love you guys so very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Stay safe until next week. I'll talk at you mofos later.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored Podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.
So you